the die. Fight!
Hey guys, this is jmoonies, and welcome to episode 1 of the Lobby Challenger. Taking the advice of one of my YouTube subs, I've decided to start a series on self-analysis and online matches. Up till now, most of what I've done has been more or less in a preview capacity. I've touched on gameplay a few times, but I haven't really gone too in-depth. For your information, the team I'll be playing throughout these matches is my old vanilla team, Hulk, Zero, and Ryu. It's been a bit tough because I've been wanting to ditch that team for a while, but as a result of Ultimate coming out, my vanilla team has actually been buffed quite a bit, so this gameplay was recorded pretty early after release. It's hard for me to really put up a decent challenge without using them, unfortunately. Rest assured, I am working on it though. At the least, the next time I do one of these, I'll be using some of the newer characters, so look forward to that. But anyways, a little backstory on this idea is, lately I've been actually getting a lot of matchup requests over PlayStation Network as a result of my YouTube activities. So every once in a while, I take a few challenges. The one you're watching right now is from D Jizzle, I believe, and dude was a really good sport. Kind of made me realize a lot about the strategies I use, in that because my characters have like really slow mobility, but a lot of invincibility frame and huge punishment potential, I end up a lot of times baiting my opponents, making them think that I'm whiffing attack and then quickly activating a hyper combo cancel to punish their counter attack. My roommate cameraman has often referred to it as fraudulent, and I've actually been wondering what are your takes on this. As far as I know, I'm probably the most unorthodox player you'll find online. I tend to do a lot of things like using a Shoryuken with H to intentionally miss striking my opponent and then canceling into a downwards Shinku Hadouken to get them on the punish when they think they can get me on the way down. What are your opinions on this kind of style of play? Leave it in the comments. I am curious about the general opinions on these kinds of things. I've been often accused of mashing because of these tactics, though I assure you it is at least 80% intentional. The next matchup I've got going here is against Echo, who some of you may know from Machinima fame. He is probably the other out of 4 people at Machinima who are really supportive of the whole fighting game thing. He's using the self-proclaimed Team Colgate, which is Hulk, Nemesis, and Haggard. You'll understand the reason why it's called that at the end of the match, but I decided I would try to go easy on him and work with a team of the new characters. At this point in time, I was still trying to get used to the tactics. And to be honest, most of the characters I play are pretty straightforward, so it's a change of pace to use Doctor Strange and his teleports and his lack of dashing ability, and Frank West, who needs to be powered up in order to be effective. As you can see, even after all this time and even after all the vanilla play, I find the steel pipe to be an incredibly difficult adversary. Thankfully, I overcome that with my famous H forward H combo there. Not very conventional tactics. Another thing I've realized is playing Zero with level 3 X Factor. He's a lot more difficult to control because he isn't as floaty, so you gotta pull off your combos, your air combos with fewer hits in order to compensate. This matchup was actually pretty interesting to me because I'm usually the one with the super armor, and fighting against someone with 2 super armor characters has definitely been a nice change of pace. Most people I run into online who get really salty about their losses often complain that the standing H or all the super armor moves are pretty cheap, but I find that characters that are either really fast or do multiple hits in one input, obviously Zero for example, are pretty good counter strategies to these kind of characters. You just need to make enough distance, wait for them to do standing H, and then do your own standing H. I've got to admit, I thought I was going to win this one. Like any other person, I often get a little cocky. So I ended up losing this one, but it was an acceptable loss. And there you see Team Colgate's victory sign.
What a douche.
And that's D Jizzle in the background there. He was spectating the match. He's a pretty good guy. Finally, for the last round of matches, I thought I'd challenge someone who I was sure was a lot better than me. And as you can see from the one player name over there, I'm sure he needs no introduction. But going at him with my vanilla team, it's really interesting to see someone who plays in a very rushed down, very fast, high hit count play style online, because I mean, as I've mentioned before, the input lag isn't unplayable, but it definitely makes it difficult to set the pace of the match, especially when the chances of dropping your combos is so high. Obviously it's doable and it's a matter of just timing your inputs for that half-second delay, but it's very impressive to watch someone at work like this. I've kind of come to realize, fighting against him, that most of my strategies tend to be very anticipatory, and I end up having to react to what the other guy does first and rely on the invincibility frames of my hypers to make the counterattack. One of the nice additions, at least for Ryu, is that his Shoryuken with special actually gives him a second or two of invincibility animation while he's setting up for the Shoryuken. So it makes for a really good anti-air, because a lot of people think if they get down fast enough, it's punishable. Obviously, as you can see, it doesn't really do me much good in this fight. It's interesting because Maximilian's able to switch between keep away and rush down very quickly, which has me constantly guessing. Most of the time when I play online, I'm pretty much used to either having to chase someone down or having to wait for them to do the teleport jump behind me so I can smack him down with the pole. But this next match is pretty interesting. He switched up teams. I felt kind of bad sticking with my core, but in all honesty, I really needed it to stand a chance against him.
Stop you! Vengeance.
But as you can see here, Gamma Charge, one more. Half-second pause, so he thinks it's safe to attack, and then go into Gamma Crush to use those invincibility frames to hit him hard. In honesty, it does kind of feel fraudulent when I'm not playing against assholes like Cameraman. It's definitely been a nice change of pace, but I wonder whether these tactics are frowned upon in the fighting community. Kind of setting myself up, looking like I've made mistakes, and then kind of counterattacking with these invincibility hypers, because it's such a forgiving scenario for me. This, of course, is not to say that it'll give me a leg up on the competition, since anyone who play more than one match against me can definitely read through that strategy, but it definitely works as far as an online ranking strategy goes. But another thing these fights have kind of had me come to realize is that relying on kind of sneaky trick strategies works against me for the most part, because instead of really upping my game, learning how to increase the combo count, paying attention to the damage meters and coming up with better optimum combos, I end up kind of having to work off these flukes in order to win. And in a weird way, I don't really learn to get better, which is obviously not good. I could still win about 70% of the matches I play online, but in the long run, I'm more or less going to hit 4th Lord again, get stuck because people are that much better than me, and sharp enough not to fall for my tricks. And I'll just end up going back to 5th and working my way up all over again. So, I don't know, I'm hoping that learning the new characters, learning Nova, learning Strange, will kind of force me to get used to that mentality of developing new techniques and not working so cheap, since there isn't as much sneakiness to be had. Although, actually, in truth, Doctor Strange is probably going to be the most sneaky character ever. Check out my Hyper Science series if you don't know what I'm talking about.
Defeat this punch.
Ultimate Ryu has been a tricky character for me to figure out. I haven't really found an instance where a self-enhancement hyper will come into play. I did find out that his powered up Tatsu actually has a full vertical hitbox, which is nice.
Dancing guard!
But anyways, this is the end of my commentary. Thanks for watching. Leave a comment on your strategies. Feel free to challenge me on PSN. I'll be on a little more, and enjoy the bonus clip.
Oh my god!